Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah. Good afternoon, and welcome to Crossroads Podcast UK. I tell you what, it's a lovely day out there at this moment in time. This is sunny in the UK, so whatever you're doing, go out and get some sun, but make sure you put your cream on and stay safe because you never know. Anyway, I have got the lovely Dr. Monica here and we're going to have a chat in a minute. Please, don't forget if you ever want to listen to us, make sure you go on to Crossroads Podcast 105 on the radio. It's not also if you want to join us on podcast, make sure you do. We're on nearly every day. Yes, this is the only channel that's on 7 days a week. Wow, there you go. And thank you very much for all your best wishes. Okay. Hello, Dr. Monica. How are you?
Hello, Steve, and thank you for having me here again. It's been a while. I am very, very good. Greetings from Scotland to everyone who's listening to us. And yeah, if you're watching this anywhere online, just let us know where you're tuning in from. I would love to hear you.
Yeah, and if you've got any questions or anything, please leave them on our other channel or on here, and we will answer them when we can. Um, Tell everybody what you do, and because I haven't seen you for a while, so and just tell them about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. As you can see, my name is Dr. Monica Gostic, and I am now twice award-winning nutrition coach. But I wasn't always a nutrition coach. I am actually a scientist by profession and education, and I've been in science for over 15 years. My background started as a microbiologist, and then I went into molecular biology and biotech. So basically, how to use these little bugs for human good. So I was learning how to make beer and wine and all these amazing, tasty things that we love. And all that is created with the help of microorganisms, of course. Uh, but then when I moved for my master's, I went to live in Germany for a while and I did my master's there, and I fell in love with development of the brain and the genetics, and it was just really interesting to me to learn how things are connected and how actually DNA, genetics, and epigenetics affect our health, our development, and how everything that we do can be passed down to our children and grandchildren and even further down the line. So that was just absolutely fascinating to me. And this led me to come to Scotland, to St Andrews University, where I finished my PhD in genetics of neurodevelopmental disorders. And here I am still, 10 years later. I am now a lecturer and I teach my students about a lot of things connected with biology, a lot of different fields. But the most important part for me is my passion baby is the nutrition coaching. So what do I do as a nutrition coach? Well, I actually created Breaking Bad movement. Now, anyone who knows the Breaking Bad show knows it's about a scientist, about a teacher who's done conforming to the system. And this is exactly what I've been doing. The system is unfortunately broken, and I can't fix it myself. It's not enough, but I can resist it and I can spread awareness of how you can help yourself live your healthiest life possible. And it is actually possible. And this is how I developed my Breaking BAD. And it's all about nutrition for preventing or managing chronic illnesses. Now, what is a chronic illness? A lot of people don't know that they have a chronic illness. It could be anything ranging from, a typical one is diabetes. Then you've got gastrointestinal problems like IBS, IBD, colitis, Crohn's, things like that. Quite a lot of people suffer from fibromyalgia. Certain cancers are chronic illness as well. um, Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, nowadays actually anxiety and depression have been named a chronic illness or a chronic disease, whatever you prefer, as well, because it's been established that anxiety and depression stem from our chronic inflammation inside the gut in our bodies, and this then goes around the body and it causes all sorts of misbehaving stuff inside, and it then leads to developing depression, chemical imbalances in our brain, anxiety, and a lot of hormonal stuff as well. So if you're perimenopausal or menopausal, if you got problems with your hormones, then a lot of it can actually be managed or even prevented with the right nutrition and lifestyle. So this is just in a nutshell.
Right. I think we talked before about like obesity and what's been going on, in our in this country at the moment with obesity, because everywhere around the world at the moment there's like, in America there's obesity rates, in the UK it's obesity. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Is the message going out there saying to people who've got problems, is it not reaching us, or is it we're just ignoring the facts?
No, it's not as simple as that, unfortunately. Obesity is as a big problem, not because of the size of a person per se, but because of other problems that can occur when a person has too much of the fatty cells around their organs, and this can start causing inflammation. Fat cells also excrete a lot of other signals that go around the body, so that can then lead to a lot of secondary problems like diabetes and a lot more. And it's not as simple as that the people aren't educated, like if you go on the internet, every newspaper nowadays shouts about one or the other miracle cure for obesity or diabetes or whatever. The thing is that the information that is out there and the fact that anyone can say anything they want online, that
Yeah, yeah,
is what's harming people, because people are now confused and they don't know what is actually right, and they think that in order to lose weight they should just eat less and exercise more, but that is definitely not the truth. Even the personal trainers, a lot of personal trainers that I follow online because I want to see what they're doing, they say, oh, well, all you need to do is be in calorie deficit. Well, I disagree. This is not as simple, because with calorie deficit, you don't address the quality of nutrition that the person is eating. Yes, you can lose weight a little bit eating just pizzas, but that's not going to stick. And on top of everything, the damage that that's going to do to your overall health is going to be detrimental. So it goes beyond calories, it goes beyond just eating less and exercising more. It's actually about the quality of food and drinks that you put into your system. So, what medical systems and what the society is not aware of is that inside of your body, in your guts, there's an entire universe of microorganisms, literally more cells in your gut than you have of your own cells all over the body. This is how many microorganisms we contain inside of our gut. And you can imagine there's the entire universe of communication, of connections, of other stuff. And just like you and I, these microorganisms need food to survive. And quite a lot of them, they get food from the food that we ingest. So it's very important what you put inside of your body, because with every bite you take and every drink you drink, you decide whether you're feeding the goodies or you're feeding the baddies. And then the ones that you feed the most, those ones are going to grow. And then if you feed the baddies most and not the goodies, the baddies tend to become bullies inside of our gut. And once they become bullies, they bully the goodies as well, and they create that imbalance, and that's how low level inflammation starts. This is then how chronic illnesses begin, and the problem is that we don't feel it, and the problem is that no one tells you anything about it. So when you present with a stomach ache or an acid reflux, or when you've got spotty face because your hormones are all messed up, they're just going to give you creams and antibiotics and some other stuff to mask the symptoms. They're not going to get down to the root of the cause. So, one antibiotic, after another, whatever you're ingesting or putting on your skin, this is all then affecting how your balance in your gut, that universe, is going to be organized. And majority of the time, we don't know what's happening inside until it's unfortunately too late, because our body's very good at regulating itself, our body's very good in trying to fix itself without letting us know. But in the beginning, it might look like you're just a little bit tired. It might look like you're fatigued and you're like, oh, I used to have so much energy, but now I struggle getting out of the bed in the morning. Or it's something as, I used to have really thick hair, really nice, thick, silky hair, and now they're just falling out, and I don't know what's happening. Or it could be as, oh, my nails are so brittle, and no matter what nail polish I put on it, my nails are so brittle, I need to have gel polish, and stuff like that. So the problem is, people are confused, they don't know what is actually happening, and the government is not taking that part of responsibility to educate people on the right thing, because that doesn't sell well.
Trouble is though, the government is not kind of, you said about the government not giving the right kind of education as well. But the trouble is though, they will take the money off people who are buying, in the supermarkets, like
Mhm.
all the foods and everything. They must make quite a lot of money out of, all the kind of like sales of food, kind of other products as well, which are totally wrong. One minute they kind of like want to take money. Secondly, they're kind of like moaning because we live in obesity, world at the moment where there's a lot of obesity. People's having a take or anything. People's getting kind of like big, and everything. And what's happening is that sometimes people can't work, so they have to go on benefits. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's a big kind of like big circle, really, isn't it?
It is, absolutely is, and it's very complex, the topic that you just brought on, because what we're seeing in supermarkets is low cost, low nutrition products like cereal or like sweets, ready meals, stuff like that. They are the ones that are affordable for people who have a low level income, right? Low income, or they're struggling, or they're single parents, or they've got mental health issues, whatever the reason, and there's a lot of reasons. It is simpler and more cheap for people to reach for those kind of foods. But that then leads them to even further suffer with mental health illnesses and chronic illnesses and diseases in general. And what is actually out there, and it's very well known, is it's not so much the big pharma here, like a lot of people talk about it, but it is the big milk companies and the big meat companies and all these companies that produce cereals as well, like that. They benefit so much and they profit so much from our consumption. Now, there's nothing wrong with eating meat, but nowadays, if you go and get a burger, it's not a burger consisting just from meat. They put stuff in there to make it look more appealing, to make it last longer, to make it do all these kind of things. And people don't know these things. So they buy ready made burgers from Tesco, whatever. They're nice and cheap. They're great for a barbecue, but they don't know they're consuming a lot of other chemicals and stuff that they actually shouldn't be consuming. And it's the same thing with a lot of other meat products. So whatever has been made into a form that is not produced by an animal or not made by nature, that is a processed food. And processed foods are the number one enemy of our health. But the processed foods are the vast majority of products available and on the shelves in the shops. So it's very, very complex topic,
Yeah.
and it is really difficult to address it. How I help people in Dundee, where I live, is that I spread awareness of our local projects. I'm not sure if whoever's tuning in, if you guys have it on your end, but in Dundee, in Scotland, we've got local projects where they have community gardens and they produce a lot of vegetables together. Community does that. And then they also give vegetable boxes out for free. They give out produce, so you can go there, you can get lettuces, you can get carrots, some herbs, anything that is basically produced there on a healthy soil without anything added. So you know that it's good, organic, and it's going to benefit your health. So if you can get involved in projects like that in your local area, then please Google it, try find it, ask the council, and get involved.
Yeah, we do that. We do that because I run a stroke club, and and also I do a lot of kind of like we get a lot of food from fair share, and we give out food to people who need food, and we also
Ah,
cook meals from the food and everything,
yes,
fresh and
yes.
everything. So that's what we do. Um, Also, see the trouble is, so what I can't understand is, when you're kind of like you say you're a lecturer, and when you stand up and talking about nutrition and to your students, say, um, how far do you take them on the nutrition? Do you take them all the way, teach them about nutrition, or is it kind of like you stop halfway and say because they're going into different fields, when they leave university, they will be going into different fields?
Mm. Unfortunately, I don't teach students on nutrition at all. This is something that we discuss in our tutorials. So, students who have me as their tutor, then we discuss the importance of nutrition and mental health and physical health, and so on and so forth. Because I have students of psychology, I have students of biology, I speak to medical students as well on these topics. Unfortunately, I can't control where and what they're going to do, but I can only hope to be an inspiration for them to go and pursue this knowledge further. But when I speak to my clients, people that I work with, I really want to make sure that they don't just do what I tell them. I want them to learn the concepts that I teach. So I want them to really take that knowledge and go into the world and know that they're going to be absolutely okay because they're now equipped with specialized knowledge. And wherever they are in the world, if they're in a hotel, if they go for a party, if they go for family meal out, things like that, when they're in such situations where they can't control the food that they're given, I want them to understand what they can do, and I want them to also feel at ease that the one-off situation is never going to make undo everything that you've created, but you know how to balance it and things like that, and it doesn't bring them any anxiety anymore. So this is what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to really educate person by person, and hopefully that knowledge sticks with them for life.
Yeah, yeah. Um, how long? Let's talk about yourself. How long have you been a doctor now?
Well, I'm not a medical doctor, so this needs to be said publicly.
All
I
right.
am a PhD doctor. So
Okay.
I have a PhD from genetics, and it's been 4 years now since I've graduated. Yes, but I've been in science for 15 years now.
Gosh, gosh. And
Yeah.
when you kind of like when when you're speaking to your clients about different issues, what are the issues that are out there at the moment that they're most kind of want to talk about?
Well, my clients mostly want to talk about their illness, their diseases that are pestering them. So a lot of the times their quality of life is very low due to the fact that they are tired, lethargic, and they just don't have enough zest in them to go through the day. And it's really, really difficult when you're a mother, when you work, when you have a job, when you're trying to run a business, because I also work with a lot of entrepreneurs, moms in business. So it's quite difficult for them to take care of the kids, sometimes take care of their spouses as well, take care of the pets, the house, trying to think what's for lunch, just so many things that they're
Mm,
absolutely overwhelmed and the mental load is too much. So it is my goal to make that situation easier for them, to make it easier for them to know what they're going to eat. That takes the guesswork out of the system. That is already a lot simpler, and a person feels at ease and calmed down. Then we're also discussing how to eat. So, for example, I don't give you out menus. I see what you have in the fridge, and with what you have in the fridge, I then give you suggestions how to make a balanced meal. So you don't have to have any specialized foods. You don't have to have like superfoods or stuff like that. Or
so hang on for a second, hang on. So you actually get people to show you their fridge.
they tell me, yes, they don't have to show me. That it's a cause for anxiety for quite a lot of people. They don't have to show me, but they do tell me what is available to them. They tell me what's their budget like. They tell me if they're capable or able financially buying certain ingredients, and if they're not, then I find budget friendly alternative for them, so they then can manage something and still eat healthily on a budget, and also know that it's not just because a lot of times person comes to me and they say to me, I eat healthy, I eat this and this and this and this. But when we then go and look in their food diaries, because they do send me food diaries every single evening, when we look at their food diaries, then I notice that yes, the ingredients are healthy, but the way that they make their meal, the way that the plate is set up, the balance is off, for example. So it could be that some people are going to eat just carbs. So, for example, yeah, they're going to have nice, healthy pasta, because yes, pasta can be healthy, but there's not going to be any a single vegetable on it, for example, or there's not going to be any source of protein. And protein is number one macronutrient that people are usually deficient in. And if you're deficient in protein, then your skin starts getting saggy, and your hair start falling out, and your nails are brittle, and your teeth start rotting and stuff like that. So I look at what they have, how they eat at that given time, and what they can afford, and then together we make a strategy, we make a plan, and what they can change tomorrow, and then what they can change over the week, and how they can prepare certain things to appeal to their children, for example. So it just depends really on the individual, their personal preferences and their personal needs, because I always say you cannot blueprint health and you can't blueprint nutrition. And every specialist who's working in microbiome right now is going to tell you that we are heading into the era of personalized medicine, and we are going to start screening individuals better so that we know your individual needs. So that it's not going to be like, oh, well, You're obese, just eat less and exercise more. But it's going to be like, okay, you're obese. Let's see why you're obese. Let's see if your hormones are off. Let's see if you got gut dysfunction, which is majority of the cases. Yes, absolutely. Let's see if it's this or that. And then we can suggest treatment once we actually know what's wrong with you. Because no one's obese because they want to be obese. That is just not the case. I mean, you know how hard it is going up the stairs and mobility and quality of life. No one wants to choose that for themselves. They got there because something happened. And it can be tied to mental health, it can be tied to physical health, so many different reasons. But that's a conversation for another day.
That's correct. Yeah, that's fine. The last thing what I want to talk to you about is this: that what happens if somebody can't afford? So if you said to somebody, right, you got to go out there and get more vegetables, more different meat or whatever. But what happens if someone comes back to you and say, "But Monica, I can't afford it."
Well, then we figure out what they can afford. So if they can't afford fresh vegetables, can they afford frozen ones? You have a whole section in Lidl and Aldi that you can get a whole kilo of frozen veg for a pound or less, right?
Yeah,
So then can you get frozen veg? Okay, yes, you can. Fantastic. Let's get frozen veg. Okay, you can't afford the meat. That's no problem. Maybe we're gonna have meat just once a week, and on the other days, we're gonna get protein through beans, pulses. We're gonna look into tuna. Tuna can be quite affordable as well. All these kind of things. So there's so many changes that you can make, budget friendly ones. You can also go around various shops and see. Look, for example, Lidl has coupons, so take advantage of the coupons and shop when things are reduced. If you find, for example, they've got a healthy bread that you like and that you eat, but you can't afford it because it's normally like £2 or even more, then buy it when it's on offer. Buy it when they're just closing the shop and it's heavily reduced, and put it in the freezer. So when you take it out of the freezer, you can just put it in a toaster and it's just like fresh.
yeah, it's a good
So
idea.
it's
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah. I used to do that. I used to wait until the shop closes. Then about 10 minutes beforehand, I used to go in and go around getting all the cheap offers and everything, getting all the bread and the vegetables, what they're going to check out, the fruit and everything. So
Absolutely. There's so many options, but obviously I speak to every individual individually because not two people are the same, and not two people have the same situation in their lives. So general advice usually holds for just a few, selected few. So when a person is in need, then I just suggest you to come to me and then we can discuss things further for your specialist case.
brilliant, very good. See, there you go. So if people want to contact you, how do they do that?
Well, feel free to reach out on Facebook. I've got my Facebook page is Dr. Monica Gostic, exactly like you see the name written on the screen right now. If you are listening this on the radio, it's Dr. Dr. Monica with a K and Gostic. You can put this into Facebook. You can find me. You can also Google Dr. Monica Gostic. In Google, you're going to get all my social media streams and my website and any contact that you feel you want to contact me through. So basically, I'm everywhere. So you just choose your favorite one and message, call, write, whatever you prefer.
There you go, eh? So there you got all. We will also put the links up later on our website. Thank you very much, Dr. Monica. Thank you for all your wise words and everything, and hopefully people will take that in. And our front seventh always do. As you know, I'm well into obesity and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you so much, Doctor, and see you soon.
Thank you.